It's Friday on this side of the planet. Um, Welcome to CG Spectrum's illustration block. I am your host, Eric Wilkerson, and today I will be um, moving my Wacom pen at a very high velocity on my screen and making stuff. The short version. I should have said making cool stuff, but I mean it's Friday and you're here, so I mean, come on now. You know what time it is. Uh, that's a pretty bold statement, knowing that there's probably like one person watching. That's that's fine. Um, Happy for anybody that shows up and wants to talk. And if you have any art related questions, feel free to ask. And otherwise, I am going to attempt playing, or I'm going to experiment with color sketches for this project. This is something that I feel like I want to maybe make an oil painting out of at some point, just for funs and giggles. So I'm thinking about what kind of palette to have for this particular piece. Um, I have references that I probably legally won't be able to call up onto my screen, but I will be sampling from those colors in my references and trying to figure out what works for either the background, for the suit design, and all that stuff. And if anybody's having trouble hearing me, I will turn the music off or down lower. But anyway, it says there's 6 unread messages in the chat, and for some reason I don't see the chat. I don't understand this program. So odd. Ah, there's the chat window. Jeez. That took forever and a week. Right. I get this to pop out. You'd think after a while I would learn to use this software, but it looks like they updated it. So I chat appearance. Well, that's not embarrassing at all. I don't know how to work this. Okay. Oh, there it is. Pop out. Haha. Okay. Nikita's here. Right on. Hi, Nikita. All right. So it is actually next Wednesday in the drawing. We've gone from face mask coverings to full-on spacesuits to keep that Rona out. So should put a CDC badge on her shoulder instead of it being a Mars logo. It'll be a CDC patch. So Oh, thanks, Nikita. Thanks. All right, so let's stretch this up a bit. I'm gonna make like a simple enough portrait. Hope everybody can hear me okay. That I'm not sounding muted or anything. Just waiting for the crop. Just expanded the. There we go. Let's see. I want to. First thing I want to do is finish off the suit. Line here. Ah, that says suit. Finish up this little bubble dome. Very old-fashioned, but I love it. Old-fashioned bubble dome space helmet feel. So it's not enough just to work out a face. I want to try to get a whole thing going. Whole helmet, glass thing going. This is one of those moments where it helps to probably have a 3D model or something to know where the other side of this form is, so that I'm not just randomly making lines trying to figure it out. But there's no time for that right now, so I'm just gonna eyeball it. Even though I probably would enjoy sitting here sculpting a space helmet. And I don't know if I'd be able to just imply that with color, some blob of value. Same thing with the instead of trying to draw in some gear or something. Ooh, I do have a. I get excited when I remember that I actually do have some reference for stuff. I just have to think about if I'm legally able to post it. That's the hard part. Thanks to it, a Twitch stream instead of a live session with my students, where I can just dive into my hard drive real quick, show them something. Oh, I probably won't be able to pull up that reference. All right. Plan C. Nikita, if you're still there, where are you now? What are you doing these days? Are you taking any new courses or just hanging out? Hope you're still painting stuff and junk. Let me know how those portraits you were working on are doing. That you got those that you're using those really cool reference site for. Love to know how that's working out for you. Oh, the YouTube chat. I don't sorry man, I don't have any access to that. I'm not on the I don't have that turned on. So yeah, I'm glad that you were able to slide on over here. Oh well, I'm just gonna. I have some references here. I'm going to just pull up some stuff. Slide this reference over to my other monitor since I probably not be good to open it up on Twitch. Nikita's saying, don't worry, I'm still painting. I've been struggling a bit lately to finish things. I've been half finishing, but I'm not going to let that happen anymore. I have 3 paintings I've started and am finishing now. Great. Still working on another mermaid like you suggested. Definitely focus on the color and the lighting for the underwater feel. Yeah, that sounds wonderful. I have yet to see a mermaid design based around something more grotesque or bioluminescent like what you might see in that Mariana Trench. So like I won't go that route because I would want to paint it for real like as an oil painting, and I just don't think anybody would buy the original. So I'm kind of like, do I want a grotesque looking mermaid painting that's got a purple glow underlighting from the neck or from the belly, like just sitting in my studio collecting dust? Maybe like 10 years from now there'll be some collector that goes, oh my god, I want this. I gotta wait 10 years, so it's not worth it. Years. Oh, a reference. Oh, all right, so I'm gonna take this. So my thought process for this is to we go. I've completely taken her out of her original context. The wardrobe, the hair, the not the hair, but the little headdress, flower headdress, and all that stuff. I want to keep that lighting, but I want to change. I want to change it. But I'm also going to change the colors on this. So I'll switch it to there so people can see what I'm doing. So I have the color balance turned on, clipping it, and like as we can see, like just changing the color temperature affects the color temperature of her skin. So she's no longer brown, she's just shades of gray and blue. But, you know, facial features, facial structure, you can tell it's a black woman. And that, I don't know whether or not I want to keep it warm here. Tint the overall thing. I think that's okay. But then I want to take this and completely change the color of that rim light. Go green with it? Don't know. Desaturate it a little bit. Doesn't need to be super chromatic. So it can bathe the whole left side of her body and helmet and all that stuff in a greenish glow, maybe. So usually when I'm doing color sketches or like working out, when I'm working on color sketches for stuff, I might just play around with the color balance on a character. Till I get something that feels comfortable for me. I guess that's good. Spacesuits in Prometheus are really, really cool. Oh yeah, Nikita. Yeah, it's funny how some stuff sells like immediately. Other things, it's like 2 years later, I get an email. Sometimes 3 years later, I get an email out of the blue. You still have that painting? I'm like, oh yeah, yes I do. Yes I do still have that painting. That's always makes me happy. So, first things first, let's take this out. Take out the highlights. We don't need those anymore. This out. And let us take this color and fill that background. All right, so then This isn't the best way to go about building up my layers for this, but it's what I'm doing on the spot so that I'm not taking up a ton of time trying to structure this thing properly. Is what I should be doing. But so I'm just going to be sampling from my reference here. Just get these colors splashed in there. So if you've watched this stream in the past, you've seen me play with putting like an overall tint on stuff, or you've seen me do a line drawing and then just paint direct over top of it. When I'm doing color sketches for projects, sometimes I still want that line work to show, and so this color, these colors start like my base, how I start off the project. A lot of the time you can get the painting to a point where it's almost done all in one layer, really. Then just come over top of it and refine it. I know this is probably kind of a little hard to see, but I'm trying to keep the values in here kind of dark. So let's see, what does that look like if I do that? Pop in that green so that I know my lightest, probably one of my lightest values is. And why green? It doesn't have to be green. Necessarily have to be green. It's just an arbitrary thing. So when you see me just making these little marks, I'm squinting and checking checking the value just to make sure that it's what I actually want. Sometimes I might dull some things down. Haven't decided on what I want the actual spacesuit to be. I probably use the same exact palette in here. There's this like spacesuits, those little red and gold, blue accents around the seal for the thing. So that looks like. want this, that. It's fun to just explore this stuff. Saying the light is coming from there, so we can and say, let's say that the helmet has like a cool bluish tint to it. Nothing like ridiculous, but there. All of this would have cool blue visory look to it. And maybe all right, this is not going to work. Hold on a second. I have to treat this right. So just give me a second. I'm going to restructure my layers a bit and save this file differently so that I can I need to be able to work. Like right now I have the line drawing is an umber, it's a brownish line drawing, and I grouped that. I have that folder grouped and with a hue and saturation adjustment layer on it, which takes out that brown, and so I made it a black line. But I need to actually make it a black line because I need to be able to paint. I need to be able to add this color sketch within that group instead of underneath or below it. When you use several skin tones, do you use the blend brush for smoothing their gradations? Yes. Sometimes. Sometimes if the values are close enough together, I would just use the pen pressure of my paintbrush to blend the strokes together at a low opacity. So like all right, 1 second. So like for example, if I take this color out, if I take the line work out, if I wanted to blend these two values together, I could use the smudge tool, or my paintbrush is already at a low opacity, so I can just come in here and just using my pen pressure, just blend them like that. That works just as easily. You know, without me having to get into smudging anything. It's just super easy way of handling it. just letting it drag and do its thing, be its own thing. Then if I need to go any further than that, I just, again, just selecting the two values, low opacity, very light pressure. One way of doing it, especially if you want something to just feel painterly from a distance, you know. All right, the line work. Okay, so there we go. So I need to fix this. So I'm is that boring technical end of the process. Highlight. Leave. Sure. Just easier to get it all right in my head. I'm working with a round black line and can work within form, within the in this group file. Suit base. Okay, now I'm back in business. All right. Finish doing this. And good. A lot of extra junk in here. Naming my layers. Oh my god, why isn't he painting? He's just sitting here naming layers for like the past 15 minutes. Why am I watching this? Don't know. Don't know. Okay. That's better. Probably this out. So I can actually see what I'm doing. Okay. Oh, of course. Of course. I blame OBS because Whenever I'm just painting for myself, pen tilt works just fine. But when I'm doing it live in front of the world, Photoshop's got to mess up on me. That's gotta be over. This should not be. Well, let's just pretend like my paintbrush wiggles back and forth with the flow of my hand like an actual paintbrush. I'll just choose something different. It doesn't do that at all. It's not near the paintbrush I want. Happy with it. Okay. What is it? What do they call that? First world problems? Oh no, his pen tilt doesn't work anymore. Call the fire department. So this is where I'll get it. Suit. I'm not sure. Like, this is the fun part of doing like a color sketch for stuff. It's very simple. Turn off, and just be left with all of my different values. Just be left with the solid colors and be able to kind of see where it's going at this stage, at this level, and whether or not I'm happy with it, or what needs changed, what I can update. Thinking that I want some kind of neon power source or some kind of neon thing here. Maybe it's an O2 gauge or something like that, or pressure seal info or power icon or something like that. That'd be cool. Power icon. That too bright. That's probably too bright. I don't do any of that photo bash gimmicks, anything like that. I'm just painting. So that what a power icon? I don't remember. Wait, no, it's the power icon. Yeah, it was close. thing I have to factor in to this sketch and then to actual painting is that there will now be a cast shadow from helmet right across her. If you're a student of CG Spectrum, say hi. Let me know where you're coming from, where you are in the world right now, and what time it is, and what are you currently working on? What's going on in your world? So it's 6 p.m. 6 p.m. 18 hours. Oh wait, is that 18? No, it's not. 9? Goodness. In Chile. See you. Oh, see you next week, Nikita. Cool. Go for it. All right. Take care. Like, how practical is it for there to suit helmet that is two pieces instead of one piece dome thing? And I don't know. Like, you really wouldn't think that, what do they call those things? Those earbuds? Those Apple earbuds would fit securely in somebody's ears without falling out onto the dirty floor constantly. But I guess they stay in people's ears, so I'm just I just imagine that maybe is plausible enough. Plausible enough. Um, Drew. Oops. Long layer. Remember kids, always paint on the right layer. Luis, if you're still there, I'm glad that your client liked the piece that you worked on. That's very cool, man. That's what it's all about. Happy client keeps coming back for more. I think I've got enough information here to just start direct painting all this. But this is where my process begins. That line drawing, then a color comp where I'm working out all of my reference and the values and everything and getting everything to a point where it's balanced. Correct. And do a final drawing based on that comp and paint it. Dive into painting it. So, oh, so the Black Death one. Well, I'll have to message you outside of this because we can't use this. I can't use this Twitch stream time to send feedback for student work. Because a lot of the student work and the streams and all that stuff is private. But I will message you through Slack to send you feedback on. This is just time for me now to experiment and play with color. It's always fun to just sit and paint something when I have the time. And Sometimes you need to sit and work out the painting, your idea for it, the little color sketch, finishing the drawing. Oh wow, look what decided to turn back on. My pen tilt. Ooh. Oh. So, okay. I think that this is a good position. So, let's see. All right. So I'm gonna pause for a minute and go get some water and go to the bathroom, and I will be right back. So go freshen up. I'll be here when you get back. Okay? Right. Okay. And I'm back. So, I think what I want to do is try to figure out what the narrative of this is. What's going on in the background? Who is this person? Why are they in the suit? Should the bubble dome, should the helmet itself be open or should it be closed? If it were closed, what would that look like? And what in the background is giving off that green light source? Is she near an engine source? Is she near something organic? Does the spacesuit itself, or the suit that she's wearing, have any kind of wear and tear, scratched paint, anything like that? These are things that I think about at this stage, especially if it's a color sketch for something where there's no prompt, there's no brief, it's just me trying to do something. I'd have to ask myself those questions, like what's going on? What's the story? What happened? What's happening? What is about to happen in this scene? To make what is essentially like a stoic moment of just this woman just staring blankly. Like what is happening around her? So let me ask you, my legion of adoring fans, thousands of you that are holding on to my every word right now, what should go in the background? Let's compose this piece together. Not all of you at once, though. Not all. I don't want to flood the chat and crash the whole program, okay? So, if you have any ideas, let me know. And no, I'm not painting baby unicorns or My Little Pony. Maybe the glow is from My Little Pony. No. No more My Little Pony stuff, right? Just putting it out there. Okay, I guess I'll come up with it on my own. That's fine. I was going to do that anyway. I'm going to say that this dome is filled. Not going to be open. Well, this is just my pass at it and see what that would look like if it were. Got this crazy lag. This brush. There we go. Do I like that better? I don't know. Her facial expression is like victory, maybe? She is satisfied that she has reached the goal. The helmet opening to make... Right, that's what I was thinking, like the helmet is opening up maybe there is some kind of monitor or sci-fi background in their locker room or something like that, where she's suiting up or um, taking the suit off, right? Ooh, maybe. Maybe we go Iron Man with it. Iron Man 1 with it. And have some kind of robotic arms or something unscrewing her from this. So let's so we can go back to having the helmet open. I don't know, something about that is intriguing because it would give me the opportunity to paint a face that was tinted by like a sheet of colored glass. So there's that translucent so there's like that translucent tinted, like that tinted glass, and then it's going to alter the temperature and the color of her skin for the final piece. I don't know, man. Because then I could take that trim and kind of mirror it. This little accent here, I could mirror that here. Something that has more of a like a filigree kind of accent to it. Be cool looking. Like that find what she was looking for angle. So then what if the entire piece is bathed in that green and I tint the entire thing? Oh man, that's a lot of Viridian green and Phalos. So we take that, we bring it back here, turn that on, hit this, fill that, change the blend mode to Uh, no, no. Oh. Wow. No. Color. Let's go back through them again. Maybe different. I'm trying to think of what if. Nope. 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 Huh. So maybe we drop that down a bit. That opacity. So there's a greenish tint. There's a greenish, overwhelmingly greenish tint to the entire piece. And we balance that out. Go a little bit more cool blue with it. I like that a little better. So we stay like so that yellow. Oh, okay. Cool. All right, I think I'm gonna go with that. I think I'm gonna go with. Then what do we put in the background? Because right now it's a little stark. It would probably have to be because the light source that's hitting her is more is artificial. So, based on the hot spots and all that. If you're working on a personal project at home, you can either give yourself a brief, give yourself an assignment, and if you're having trouble thinking of something, there are like character generator kind of briefs that you can do or give online where you can create a character in an environment and try to put that together. But you can also just start drawing a character, just start painting something. Like, I didn't set out initially to make this anything more than a portrait of a woman. So I have to sit here and ask myself these kind of questions. What's happening? What's about to happen? What is she doing? And let me try that approach with the robot arms or something. Say there's some kind of hatch cogs or something like that. Here's here. Could it be a what do they call those tethers? Somebody's spacewalking. Remember what? Or like one of those old-fashioned divers scuba suits where they were pumping the oxygen through the tube. And I know it's kind of, do we go retro with it? These are all the questions that pop up in my head right now. you go retro sci-fi with it and make it more similar to a scuba suit from the 19th century or early 20th century, probably early 20th century, or is this part of something bigger, like some kind of mechanical arm thingies? I don't know if I want to go that route. This is definitely something worth pursuing, something worth figuring out, and like bringing us to a full like oil painting finish when I have the time. But yeah. Luis, if you're still there, you were talking about getting into or doing oil paintings and stuff. Um, do you mess around with watercolor or gouache at all? Ah, water. Okay, cool. Um, I used to use watercolor like almost like all the time. That was my medium. Watercolor and gouache. Um, how I started out learning how to paint was using that stuff, and then moving into oils and then digital. Um, really taking a look at the kind of stuff that Alex Ross was doing on Kingdom Come and all of those comic books, and then seeing the work of illustrators that use watercolor and gouache predominantly in their work. Watercolor, gouache, and color pencil in their stuff. Which would just seem, I think there's a couple of people that still do that. Um, what's his name? Not Tim O'Brien. CF Payne. Yeah, Alex Ross is fantastic. CF Payne is another illustrator that does a lot of his work in watercolor and gouache and color pencil. I think it's just gouache and color pencil. But it's so refined. It's hard for me to figure out what the ratio is, like how much of it is color pencil versus watercolor and all that water-based media. But I might do I used to do my color sketches in gouache um like really really fast, and you might find that to be something relaxing. Just step away from the computer for a couple of minutes and do your sketches for your card illustrations, or your color studies for something like that, you know. um because it's very spontaneous. He says it's hard to make watercolor looking on digital. Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. um I think it depends on the program though, because I've seen some really good ones that, like Art Rage, for example. Like Art Rage gives you the ability to mimic any kind of traditional media. um, oil based. I mean, you can adjust it down to how much paint is on your brush, and then as you're doing the stroke across your canvas, your brush will run out of paint, and it'll start giving you this dry brush effect. It's from the original creators of Corel Painter. Before it was sold, or after it was sold to Corel, the people that made Painter made this program called ArtRage, and I feel like it doesn't get enough attention. Yeah, Painter's okay, but Painter is also probably one of the most unstable programs I've ever seen in my life. I don't know who's using that for professional work, but you know, they must have like there's this one dude that uses it, and he uses it for like live presentations and like performance art, and I'm thinking that one person has the only stable copy of the program, because you know, there's probably thousands, hundreds of thousands of people watching it. And you don't want that thing crapping out in the middle of a demo that's being watched by potentially hundreds of thousands of people. But everybody else, yeah, we're getting that. We're getting that. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't program. Sometimes it'll work. Sometimes you'll fix yourself a ham sandwich and come back, and it'll be you'll be looking at your desktop. It'll be gone. It's just like, I guess I'll shut myself off. He went and fixed himself a sandwich. And Photoshop did that, I would cry. So it happened to me on a professional job where I got up, went to my fridge, and it crashed on me while I was away. And this is back before there was an auto backup, auto save, anything. You know, if you lost it, you lost it. That's an hour or two of your life, then you're just gonna have to remember how you painted it. That's it. Horrible. Say in comics you need really action poses for characters. He works from photos. To me, his characters look like modeling poses. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about that, because he's done some pretty iconic action poses for his characters. I mean, and I think a lot of his stuff is grounded in realism, so he's not doing anything ridiculous, any kind of weird poses where like with Spider-Man you see him just legs all stretched out to here and looking all double jointed in his hips. Like, Spider-Man, you know, come on. We get it that he's flexible, but you know, is his leg really gonna be up here while he's swinging through the air? No. So when I see an Alex Ross version of the character, you know, looking like a guy in a suit, like a spandex or, you know, pajama tops and bottoms. That feels more authentic. Well, that's authentic to what he grew up with, like that 1970s Spider-Man. Um, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like there should be a specific look that is followed by comic book artists. If you're going to do comic book characters, they need to be larger than life and heroic and always in an action pose or something. But I think it's the little moments. It's the little moments. For me, probably one of the most beautiful, hauntingly beautiful paintings that Alex Ross did was in and it was like one panel from Superman for Earth, like when Superman was gonna like try to uh solve world hunger and like help the planet, and then uh humanity was like, screw you, Superman, we'd rather starve. It's a longer story than that, but there's this one moment where you see him in his apartment as he's still got the glasses on, and he's just like, kind of like just slouched in his chair with the shirt's unbuttoned so you can still see the S. Just looks defeated and exhausted, but it's Superman. So it's just that there's that juxtaposition between what you know to be Superman, but there's the real person. There's the person underneath the costume. The costume is just a representation of what he does, what he represents, but there's still the man and all of his worries and his concerns and like all of that, his doubts. All of that is just like, all of that is just in this one moment where he's just in the chairs, like sulking in the chair. You don't see that in comic books. You're always seeing somebody punching somebody or flying through a wall or something like that. But that's why I love moments where it's a superhero just eating a sandwich on a rooftop. A friend of mine, he gets really bent out of shape. He gets really upset when he sees superheroes eating. Because he's like, they don't take their gloves off. They were just fighting. They were just running around in the sewers or the subway or, you know, whatever. They didn't stop and wash their glove off. They just go and grab a sandwich and they just sit on a rooftop eating popcorn and hot dogs or whatever, like licking their lips and like sucking their, you know, the mustard off of their thumb. But it's a gloved hand that's been touching everything in New York City. And he's like, that is absolutely disgusting. I don't care if you've got a hypermetabolic system or whatever. That's nasty. I just thought, you know what? I can't dispute that. I cannot dispute that. You're always seeing, I guarantee you could go on Google right now and type in Spider-Man eating a hot dog. And there a bunch of panels will pop up, and he always has his gloves on. Always. It's nasty. Especially when you consider he's crawling around on buildings. Nah. Nope. So you're saying Alex Ross Hulk should look like Lou Ferrigno. Alex Ross's Hulk looks like the original Kirby version, only Alex Ross eyed. That makes sense. So he's kind of trolly looking, hunchback. He's got the bowl cut. That's another thing I don't understand, is when he mutates into Hulk, his whole hairstyle changes. He could have Bruce Banner could have a mullet. He changes into Hulk, he's got a full head of hair. I don't know, he could be, it's weird, but there's no mullet. Everything kind of just like sucks up. So, weird. But I don't. We could go into Hulk, but it's probably there's stuff I could say about Hulk that would probably get this whole channel, this my whole Twitch stream in trouble. But anyway, so I'll leave it. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, the bowl cut is weird. It's weird. Um, but coming up with a good costume design, coming up with a good color scheme for a costume, and then making that work in a narrative, in a narrative composition is not easy. So if somebody is comfortable doing it a certain way, you know, with photo reference or some people use toys even. Some people use toys to pose stuff to get the lighting right. I've seen that a lot. So like whatever works, whatever you're comfortable with. But what I will say about Ross's stuff compared to a lot of other comic book artists out there is that it definitely stands out as its own thing. Like you're not gonna confuse an Alex Ross painting or you know, with something that somebody else has done. You know it when you see it. And like, let the other guys draw Spider-Man with the dislocated hip bone, all that. Yeah. Yeah, there's a number like who do I like? Who's another comic book artist? Um, I really liked Marco. What's his last name? Jurjevic. Can't pronounce his last name. I'm sorry, man, but I liked the stuff he was doing when he was working on Marvel covers several years ago. Looking at my art books and you know, the stuff that Mobius was doing for heavy metal and Jeff Darrow, Joe Jusko, Bob Larkin. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Jusko is just one of my favorites. He's still knocking it out. He's doing like some Tarzan paintings that'll just like blow your mind. Knocks all that stuff out in acrylics. I just don't understand it. I really don't, but just phenomenal work. phenomenal work. You know, it's just about finding something you love to do and doing it. I think I found the palette for my piece. Thank you for sitting with me while I talked this out and figured out what I wanted to do. I'm not going to go with the open dome. I think it feels better to have it enclosed, but have that feeling like she could turn her head inside, she could look up, she could look down. There's nothing really obstructing her field of view. I mean, I probably could take this gold bar here and angle it up a little bit more so there really truly isn't anything obstructing her view. But I mean, if she doesn't see something off of her peripheral vision coming at her really, really fast with this in the way, then she just can't see anything. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to overthink it. I think it just looks cool. So, lazy Friday. Nothing super fancy today. This was more about me just working out this piece, working out the colors for this piece, and I think I did that. So I know where I want to go with it if I were to do an oil painting. Bioluminescent flowers or something in the background. That's what I'm gonna do. Where is that? Boom, boom, bang. So maybe we go with some leaves or something. Pointing in, kind of tropical thing going on. Ooh, what if there was little neon fairy thing generating that light source? Bunch of them on some alien planet. I don't know. I'll mess with it. So that's what I got for you guys. I will post something on Slack, but there will not be a stream next Friday because I will be moving to a new space. So take a look at this amazing wall behind you because this is the last time you will see this room. The new studio will be like 10 times bigger with like neon lights and lava lamp. Definitely getting a lava lamp. I don't care what anybody says. And so you guys have a good week. 10 times bigger. 10 times. I don't know. Probably not. I don't have depth perception, so maybe it's not. Yeah, it's like, why move? Why do people move in the winter? I don't know how it goes. Just hope that between now and then it doesn't snow again. But all right, good talking to you guys. And Luis, I'll check in with you. I'll check in with you later. Okay. All right. You have a good night.